Our next speaker is Maggie Alonso-Galicia. Dr. Alonso-Galicia is a pharmacologist and program manager at Bayer Healthcare, and she is going to talk to us about specific skills you need for negotiating when you're in industry in research and development. Okay, good.
Okay.
Oh, I went in the wrong order, didn't I?
I think, I don't know.
Catherine,
It's up
is
to
that
you.
all right if you go
Catherine,
next?
that's-
Okay, so, sorry, I went out of order. I looked at the wrong place on mine, and I wondered why you were like, what?
Is my time up? That's all right. Okay, 10
Thanks,
minutes.
Maggie. Sorry, Catherine.
Good, thank you. So I'm Maggie Alonso-Galicia. I've been working for Bayer Pharmaceuticals for about a year now, but in total I have about 16 years of experience working for different pharmaceutical companies. I'm by training a cardiovascular and renal physiologist, and I'm really committed to mentoring students, giving back to the APS. So really happy, thank you for the invitation. And what I'll try to do in 10 minutes is just to give you a brief look into what kind of skills you really need to succeed in the pharmaceutical industry. It's an area that is very different from academic investigation, but all of us receive the same type of education. It's just the skills that we need to develop to be able to succeed in a very competitive environment. And remember, the pharmaceutical industry, the one that I work on, is for profit. So, bringing money to the company or saving, money to the company is critical. So how we do that as employees is really important. So you will have access to all these slides. This is my brief summary of my resume. As you can tell from this listing here, I've been working for Bayer is my fourth company. So I've been jumping from big pharma to specialty pharma to now mid-sized pharma in different therapeutic indications. So I started in hypertension, then I moved into chronic kidney diseases, then moved into respiratory and more into the clinical development, and I'm back in discovery in hematology. So as you can tell, I've been experiencing quite a bit of change, different companies, different management styles, from my manager, the company's management. And that kind of gives me an idea of what kind of skills worked for me in order to progress. I've been lucky enough that every time that I've moved companies, I get a promotion and a raise in my salary. So I like to share a little bit of what kind of worked for me. And if we can, here. So I have only one slide that I like to walk you through of what kind of things you need to negotiate when you are in this industry. So the negotiation skills that I think are really important, let me see, is this, I guess.
The little black button.
Yeah, right here. Okay, we'll start with negotiation skills that I think are really critical in order to be able to work efficiently in the industry. And one key thing here is collaboration and teamwork. Remember, in order to develop a drug, it takes a large number of scientists and people in general to really bring a new drug to market. And it all starts in discovery. And in discovery, we just don't have one scientist working on one idea. We all work in teams. And the teams are usually large. So it can be a team of 10 or it can be a 10 of 50. So you really, immediately after you get a position in industry, you really need to know how to work as a team member and how to be effective as a team member. You need to show also a lot of flexibility. It's not that you can just impose your ideas and my idea is the only idea and is the right one. You need to be able to compromise, to show flexibility, and to keep in mind that it's not just your goal, what I like to do, it's what the company needs to accomplish. It's the goals of bringing, okay, this new idea, new target into the next step in the drug development process. That is actually really difficult. because we have to deal with many different type of personalities, different egos, different pressures, timelines. There's a lot of pressure on bringing whatever candidate to the next step within a very narrow time frame. And so that puts a lot of pressure on different personalities, and the reaction to it is challenging. The other thing that I think you really need to have interpersonal skills. So be able to talk to different styles of communication, the people. I guess the DISC, actually, Bayer does a lot of DISC training, and almost on a regular basis, just to remind ourselves on our communication styles, our negotiation styles, and how to speak to different, the Ds, the Cs. I'm a C, full disclosure, and an S, so actually I'm both, kind of almost equally. And what we found is that most of the managers at Bayer are in the same category. So yeah, S's and C's. So the other thing that that I think is really important is to have assertiveness, to really know where you want to go. And this is not only on how you drive your programs or the projects that you're assigned to lead or to contribute to. You actually have to know yourself and really know where you want to go. You are in charge in your career. And when you get hired by a pharmaceutical company, you take charge. They don't develop you. They just want to get something out of you to get the job done. You really have to take charge and really have an idea of where you want to go, the type of assignments and opportunities that you get. They will have to actually contribute to your resume. And like Trevor was saying, taking notes, documenting what are your accomplishments, but actually putting numbers to it. They really build you up on your resume. So that should always be in the back of your mind. Think about yourself. How does that look on my resume? What kind of additional training I need in order for me to move on? Many times in these days, pharmaceutical companies now, they have limited amount of money available. So there's a lot of layoffs. There's a lot of repositioning, which areas we're going to bring novel drugs in. So the opportunities to really move up in the ladder are not happening as often. You have to make the conscious decision to how am I going to be, if I'm in discovery, how can I be in, for example, clinical development? In my current situation, that might not be possible, but I have to proactively think, how can I move to the next step? What else do I need to learn? And how can I expose myself to clinical development, to clinicians, in order for them to consider me as a candidate? So that is really something that you have to proactively think. And the other one is ethical standards and reliability. You really need to, I guess in this industry, is really important for us to have very high ethical standards and to be very reliable. Do as you said you will do, keep to your timelines, keep to your budget. We all manage budgets, we all are given certain amount of funds to work with to bring the drug to the next stage, so keep to that. So those are the skills I think are very useful. The other ones that I want to just briefly note is what can you negotiate? And first is, of course, getting in. How are you going to find ways or, to get a job interview, to have exposed to, so what are the opportunities? How do you get in? And this is something we can talk on the, the discussion session, but what you can do is negotiate with contacts with some of your network members, to put you in contact with people that work in the industry and negotiate with them. Can you put me in touch? Can you refer me? Can you, help me just get exposed? Again, to people working in industry. Once you get a job offer, hopefully you went through the process of, the interview process successfully, you can then negotiate your starting salary. Even if you don't have a lot of expertise, but there are certain ways that you can negotiate, you have to be informed of what is your salary range for a person of your position with your expertise. There is a lot of information out there that you can at least start with a salary range. Companies usually have a salary range for each position, and there is quite a bit of wiggle room. So you need to know how to negotiate that. But it's not just salary, it's also benefits, and it's also vacation time. And I have been able to successfully negotiate both, not just the salary increase, but for more vacation days, more benefits. And that might actually include further training, so the company paying for you for an additional training, for example, an MBA. So all that can be negotiated at the beginning. The other one is once you are in the job, you can negotiate actually for your job satisfaction. And for that means some scientists would really like to work at the bench and really design experiments and contribute that way. From some other scientists, they want to actually manage a team, and you have to be able to negotiate that. And that has to be a win-win situation. This is what I bring on the table. I think I can manage a small group, and therefore will be more productive in bringing this assay online. Those kind of compromises you have to propose to usually your manager. That's how you manage. Most of the negotiation comes is with your manager and with your direct or your colleagues. And the other one is you also have to negotiate for your long-term success, not just what you're doing now, but how is this opportunity or this project that I'm working on, the skills that I'm learning, and this scientific concepts that I'm learning with this project, how is that going to help me get to my position, let's say, in clinical development? You have to actually be able to negotiate step by step. And that is, it takes years. It really is not easy. So you just go step by step. But I just want to finish, because I have the red button now. Okay. It's that for everything that you do, you have to tailor your strategy to the organization. So what I'm telling you here, this works mostly for big pharma. If you are actually in a startup company of 3 employees, you know, there are different techniques, and it'll probably be easier to negotiate certain things, like salary. They see how much they need your skills, versus big pharma, which the brackets for their salary, for example, are, you know, narrower. And for the situation, whether you want to lead a program or whether you just want to be, you know, developing assays and, you know, contributing to teamwork that way, you have to tailor to a situation. So with that, thank you very much, and I look forward to the discussion.
Thank you.